Hi there. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Instructor of the Month interview, which is really exciting with Jen Cooper. But welcome and thank you for coming on this. Well, it's a rather rainy day in Sussex. I'm Julie Cleesby and I'm the founder of To Baby and Beyond. And some of you know me and some of you may not know me. But every month, what we have is an Instructor of the Month. We've been running this since June, I think now. And within that, it gives a really good chance to promote our instructors and what they're doing and the amazing classes and things that they're running. And also a really good chance for us to be able to promote their businesses as well on all our social media channels and to share with other instructors what they're doing and how they've done it. Because if you're thinking of training as an instructor, or you are training currently, or you are trained, it's really good to get tips and ideas, and everybody wants to know what everybody else is doing and how they did it. So it's kind of just sharing success stories and sharing what everybody's done, which is always really lovely. So I will introduce our Instructor of the Month for October, which is Jen Cooper. So well done. We're really excited to have Jen as our Instructor of the Month. Jen, do you want to let me know just a little bit about what your business is called and where you are based? Because you are quite unique, actually.
Yeah, so I'm speaking to you from 7:30 at night. I'm in Hong Kong. My business is called Little. Hold on, I'll just sit up so you can see my. Whoop, this way. There's my uniform. I'm the founder of Little Hong Kong, and we do baby classes and toddler classes, and it's baby massage, baby yoga, but I market it as gross motor development classes.
Which is nice. It's nice to have that spin on it. And how do you find that's taken by parents?
Say that again, sorry. How do I find it?
How do you find parents respond to that you've called it?
Well, so the reason that I went with that is that I found there were some kind of cultural difficulties in terms of understanding what infant massage is, what it's for, baby yoga. I got a lot of parents saying, well, my child can't do yoga because they can't stand up. Talking about a 2-month-old or a 4-month-old. And I said, well, I know that they can't stand up. Baby yoga is a bit different. So I decided to go with the gross motor development classes so that the headline isn't baby yoga, because I found that immediately a lot of parents weren't interested after they heard that. And then it's much better received. In Hong Kong, there's a bit of a culture about pushing towards the next milestone. Let's hit all the targets and the milestones. So having a class as a development class works a lot better here.
Perfect. And that's really interesting, isn't it? How the cultural differences and that they're maybe not aware of, parents in the UK are often very aware of infant massage and baby yoga now these days, but actually knowing that cultural difference has made you kind of rebrand what you do in a respect, doing the same class.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and that's not just something that you have to do if you're abroad. It's just anywhere that you are, you need to look at the competition and look at what else is being offered, and also what the parents locally to you are interested in. Are they more interested in reaching milestones? Are they more interested in meeting other people, having fun with their baby, and gear it towards that? That's really important, isn't it?
What did you do before this, Jen?
I was a high school teacher for 10 years.
In the UK or Hong Kong?
In the UK and in China.
Right.
So just left that and didn't know what to do, and trained with To Baby and Beyond only a year ago.
Wow. It seems longer than that.
Yeah.
You've done so much. You've done so much. And you left to be from being a school teacher to think I'm actually going to do baby classes. What made you decide on becoming a baby massage or baby yoga instructor?
So I had my daughter in 2020, and it was COVID times. There was nothing happening for new mums, and I really struggled with postnatal depression and birth trauma, and I ended up being prescribed one-to-one infant massage classes as my treatment for perinatal mental health issues, and it was life-changing. It was such an amazing experience, and my instructor was incredible. And it really helped me to grow in confidence as a mum, and helped me when I started my treatment. I couldn't look at my daughter. And then at the end, I learned how to care for her in a new way. And we all know what amazing things baby massage can do. And then after that, as soon as baby classes opened again, I went to every single one. I used to drive for up to an hour at a time in rural Scotland to get to the classes because they were so important to me. And then when we decided to move to Hong Kong, I was speaking to some mums here, and they were saying how hard it is to find baby classes in Hong Kong and how much they envy their friends in the UK, all the baby classes. And I realised there was a bit of a gap in the market and maybe something that Hong Kong mums were really desperate for. So that's how I decided to train with you guys and
Amazing.
open up here.
And it's amazing that your own story led you to baby massage, actually. And you saw those amazing outcomes from not being able to look at your daughter to actually wanting to attend every baby class that you could with her.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really so passionate about infant massage and what it can do for mums as well as for babies. And that was something that I really loved in my training at To Baby and Beyond. Was it was in the questionnaires for the parents at the end of the practicum, and it was did the instructor make you feel more confident as a parent? And that's something that I think is a really important part of our job, is to make the parents feel like I can do this, and to show them, look, your baby's responding to you like this. Or I like pointing out to the mums, look how they're looking at you. They're so in love with you because you're doing such a great job. And I think that's a really important part of what we do.
Yeah, it's those magic moments that we're, as instructors, we're really privileged to be able to see and be part of and point out, which I think is super important. So what courses have you taken with us, Jen?
Baby massage, baby yoga, and toddler yoga.
Perfect. What made you choose To Baby and Beyond as a training provider?
I really liked that the classes were distance because I was in rural Scotland and then Hong Kong. So I needed to be able to study at a distance, but then I also really needed a course that was really legit and had a lot of organisations recognising it. So I really liked that To Baby and Beyond is recognised by the Royal College of Midwives. That's really important, and lots of other professional bodies recognising the course was really important to me. Also, I really liked that I had a tutor and could ask her questions, and I liked the fact that things were videoed, and it felt very thorough, a really very thorough training, which is what I really wanted.
Good, thank you. And so your business has been up and running about a year now.
Just celebrated 1 year, had a big
Wow,
party.
congratulations, happy birthday. And how many classes do you run a week?
So at the moment, I'm absolutely, completely full and cannot run any more classes. I'm completely full. Tomorrow I have 4 classes. On my working days, I have up to 4 classes. One of my classes is over an hour away on a remote island.
Wow.
I have to go by ferry to go to this class. So I'm at the point now where I'm going to have to hire somebody. I know that this week I've seen more than 50 babies.
Wow, that's amazing. And how many days do you work?
I teach classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday,
Right.
but I work every day.
Of course.
Doing marketing and meetings and things like that.
Brilliant. And that's amazing. In a what a very relatively short space of time, a year. We always say to people, give yourself 1 or 2 years within your business to be able to really build up and get yourself going. But actually, you are, like you say, you are now at capacity. So you're looking at the only way to expand is to have somebody else teach your classes for you.
Yeah, and that's brilliant. But there've been so many times in this year when I thought this isn't going to work. I'm just going to have to quit. I'm going to have to go back to teaching, which I really don't want to do. There's so many times when you doubt yourself, and it's frightening starting a new business, especially when, you know, I'm part of a marriage and a family, and my income's important. So it can feel really scary, but it's amazing in 1 year how much more confident I've become, both in business and just in general.
And those times when you thought, actually, maybe I'm going to have to go back to teaching, maybe this isn't working, what made you keep going?
The year I said I have to do 1 year.
Right. Okay, good. So you'd set yourself a time scale and I have to do 1 year. So by persevering with that, you've now got to where actually I can't take on any more classes.
Yeah. And it was very quick. Just suddenly I went from having to cancel most of my classes because of not reaching capacity to suddenly the classes are consistently full. I'm getting people, I've got a waiting list for private classes, being invited to speak at events. There seems to have been a sort of tip of the balance, and I'm suddenly busy. Touch wood. Hopefully it continues.
Yeah, absolutely. In your classes, you say you've seen about 50 babies, parents and babies this week. How many parents and babies do you have typically in a baby massage class or baby yoga class or toddler yoga class, and does it vary?
Yeah, so my max is 8, but I'm doing some special events. I'm doing a special Halloween class with another baby organization, and that's going to have 15 as the max. When I do a private party, I'll do 10 as the max.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to find with younger babies, if you have a big group and one starts crying, and they all just follow each other and it leads to chaos. So I find that 8 is about the max that I'm comfortable with. If there's another organization involved, or if it's a private group and I'm not quite so responsible for keeping everybody happy, then I'm happy to have more people then.
Perfect. And what do you think the best part of running baby and toddler classes is?
I think it's those special moments that we get to see, isn't it? I had a mum in the class whose baby laughed for the first time during the class, and she just started crying. It was so wonderful. And we're so privileged to get to see those moments. It's really, really special. And then also it's a really great job for being creative and coming up with new ideas and being able to be really innovative. But it also, you can be quite sort of safe in, we have a framework and we're well trained. So it feels like a really nice balance of creativity and structure.
And I think that's really important. And our aim at Baby and Beyond is to give people a really clear framework to work with, but actually to give you the flexibility that you can do what you need to do with it, which brings in that creativity and all your other ideas and how you want to run your business rather than us dictating what you need to do with that as well. What challenges have you faced setting up your business in the last year? You talked about times when actually I don't think anybody's going to come to the class, or am I going to have to cancel this? Any other major challenges?
Yeah, it's been, at first it was a case of getting word out there, and that felt impossible to do. And it costs a lot of money to do any kind of marketing in Hong Kong. So I felt like I'd make a chunk of money and then just have to funnel it straight back into marketing, and things like that. So that felt really challenging. And then I found it very difficult to deal with competition. Just personally, I find it really, sometimes I get quite upset. I've had someone who was a close friend started classes very similar to mine, lifted copy from my website, to describe her classes, used words that I use that are sort of branding words. And in Hong Kong, you're not very well protected from people stealing your ideas. There's not such legal frameworks in place that prevent people from taking your intellectual property. So I found that really challenging. But the answer to it is just to change my mindset rather than to try to stop them. It's just to try to think, I need to be different, not better. I need to innovate, and
actually,
bring it about your personality as well.
Yeah, and it is. I think that can be quite difficult, particularly when you're starting as a new business. And actually, it's kind of seeing that as a compliment. Because if you've got an amazing idea and you look like you're doing really well, somebody next to you will think, and actually someone like you say, very close to you, someone next to you might think, that looks easy. I think I could do that. And sometimes we'll take it and copy it literally, which can be quite hard. But actually by thinking you're unique and you're doing what you do, and people buy from people. So actually it's all about your personality and how you present yourself. And I guess it hasn't impacted on your business at all.
No, I think actually there's a podcast that I listened to about business, and there was something on it the other week which really helped with this, which is that being the original thing, being the first one to do it, means that you're the industry leader. So this person lifted my copy, but the clients who come to me know that I'm the one who did it first. So that means that in their mind, I'm the one who really knows what I'm doing, and not just in their mind, but kind of in reality, because this person not qualified.
Wow.
They've just nicked the idea, and
Wow. Yeah, so good for you. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened in one of your classes?
I'm not sure I can think of very many funny things. I had a class where Actually, it doesn't start very funny, but they came to class and they said, we're actually just on the way to the doctor. We're going straight to the doctors after this because the baby hasn't pooed in over a week. Breastfed baby, and she's like 6 weeks old. And I said, well, let's see what we can do. And we did the tummy massage, and they were doing, for those of you who've done the massage course, we're doing the crescent moon stroke. And I showed it to the mum and the dad, and I showed him the pressure, and the baby did the loudest, biggest poo anyone's ever encountered. And it was like coming out of her, down her legs, just awful. But the parents were absolutely delighted because they'd saved them a fortune in doctor's bills. And they'd been so worried about her. So it was just like this massive, and then like a big cheer. We were all saying how funny it was that 6 weeks before, if someone had said your baby's going to poo all over everything in the middle of a yoga studio, that they would have been happy about it. They wouldn't have ever imagined that.
Isn't it amazing though that people can be so delighted by poo coming out?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
actually, what you gave to those parents was those parents were obviously anxious enough to call the GP. That you have to pay for medical bills there, so they were having to pay for a consultation with the GP, and they were really nervous. They were on the way there. They came to your baby massage class, and actually, what a massive impact and empowering for the parents that then they had the tools, i.e., their hands, to be able to do that for support the baby in that later on if that became a problem again.
Exactly. I love it. And you know, every time something like that happens, it happens so much, but every single time I'm like, yes, oh my goodness, I can't believe it works so well. But it really does. I mean, we know how well it works, but still when it happens, we're so surprised.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I told them to tell all their friends, text everybody.
And I think we don't need to teach very many classes as an instructor to see all of these benefits that we talk about on the course, all of this research and all of these things actually coming to fruition. You know, within a couple of classes, you've got lots of anecdotal evidence of these things that are happening and all the benefits of baby massage and baby yoga and all the other things.
Yeah, you see it right before your eyes, even when you know it. We all know it from the training, and then you see it just in real time. Amazing.
And I think it is, even though you see it again and again, it's seeing how relieved the baby is literally, but also with some of these things, how relieved the parents are, because that's something that's caused them a lot of worry over the last few days or week.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it boosts their confidence as well. They're the ones who did it. And then, like you say, they now know, right, I can actually do something to help her, and we don't need to always get to the doctor. Really good.
Absolutely. What's the most rewarding thing about your job?
I think that in terms of the actual classes themselves, obviously the rewarding thing is when you get a really good result like that. Or I personally, just because of my history and experience, find it really rewarding when mums feel safe to open up and talk about the struggles that they've had with their babies, especially here in Hong Kong. Even among the expat community, there's still a real stigma around mental health. It's really hard to get people to open up and talk about anything other than the positive side of new parenthood. And it's not all positive. It's challenging even for people who don't have postnatal depression, right? Like sometimes we're tired, sometimes we're overwhelmed. They have to go back to work after 3 months here. So they're also under a lot of pressure to love their child very quickly and have an amazing maternity leave. And it's really rewarding to me when the parents feel like they're safe to express when something's difficult. And I really like that. Also, I love it when they all go for coffee after class and they've made friends. That's really nice.
Yeah, and potentially lifelong friends.
Yeah,
grow
absolutely.
Up, especially where you're in an expat community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And then also when it can bridge that gap, when we've got an Australian and a Brit and a Hong Kong local and a Japanese person all going for coffee together, and they might not have met, they might have been in very different circles, but they've connected through this. And it's really lovely.
Yeah, that is amazing. Amazing. You mentioned you're running your classes 4 days a week, but then you are busy the other days, and obviously you've got your daughter as well. But how much time do you think you spend on marketing your business?
It's a lot of what I do is marketing my business. I try to see it as a hobby and make it fun. I'm known for my reels, so I do a lot of reels I will sometimes be out and people come up and say, oh, I follow you on Instagram. and they've seen my reels, but they haven't necessarily come to classes. So I do a lot on social media. The last few weeks I haven't been able to because I have been so busy and I'm just very tired. My daughter's changed her schooling, so she's around in the house a bit more, so it's harder for me to film. But I spend an awful lot of time doing social media marketing. I do an awful lot of additional events and collaborations with brands. I work with a personal trainer, and we do mummy and baby fitness classes. So the babies do baby yoga and the mums do a baby wearing workout. I have another collaboration with a local author who she writes these wonderful storybooks, and I do yoga based on the stories with her, and we do that in bookshops. Let me think what else. There's a kinder music business, and we have found that kinder music and baby yoga go together really well. So she'll do a little bit of singing and some kinder music, and then I'll incorporate movement into what she's doing so that we can blend the classes. So and it works fantastically well. I'm getting the benefit of all these other networks, all of their email lists and everything. And often I do get paid for the work that I'm doing. So for example, this Halloween party with the kinder music group, it's about to sell out, and that's going to make me a good chunk of money. But even when I do it for free, I do get a return on that time investment because I give out flyers, I get my name out there, make myself into a recognized brand, and that really helps. So I think the biggest thing and the thing I spend the most time on is collaborating.
And I think that's amazing. I mean, my aim with the exactly with the toddler yoga course, for example, that you could pick up any child's book and turn it into yoga inspired moves. So these
Exactly.
aren't books that are kind of well known, but you're working with a local author that you're picking up any of their books and turning them into yoga in the sessions, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. And it's such a different space for me to bring my yoga. And normally I'm in sort of schools and maybe working with fitness and wellness organizations, but to work with an author means I'm in bookshops and doing really different kinds of things. And we were talking today, when she goes out and does events like book signings and things, she has like a little activity pack with puzzles and coloring books. And we were talking about the possibility of getting a photographer to get the poses that go with the story into a little booklet that they can take home and practice, or even getting her illustrator to do the characters doing the poses. So nice. So that's where I find my creativity is able to come in a lot, is finding other businesses and let's find ways that we can work together and collaborate rather than compete or look at them and their events and think, oh, I wish I could get people like that. I wish I could get numbers like that. And instead think, how can I work with them?
Yeah.
And combine our ideas.
Amazing. Last question. From me anyway, but what would your 3 top tips be for somebody starting a business like yours?
Starting, I think find organizations locally to you that are really well respected, that work with babies or toddlers, where there's not necessarily an overlap, but there's an overlap of clients, but not of service. For example, newborn photographers or postnatal fitness personal trainers or authors, and try to find collaboration. And then in that way you can launch your business and get yourself recognized by groups of people. Finding ways into the mum groups, whether that's a Facebook group or a due date WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp groups here are absolutely, that's the key, that's the biggest thing. And it's getting someone maybe that you might know in that WhatsApp group to say, I'm going to this baby class next week, who wants to join me? And that kind of word of mouth marketing is really priceless. And then I'd say the third thing is maybe to implement some kind of referral program on that word of mouth idea. So if anyone brings a friend to the class, then you're going to give them a discount going forward, because that word of mouth thing is really, really priceless.
Brilliant. Thank you. Is there anything else, Jen, that you want to share with everybody today about your business or about what you're doing or about your training?
No, I'm not sure. I don't think so, because I think we've covered an awful lot that we've talked about. I think that the only thing that I just want to say at the end is, I don't know if anyone else feels like this or if you feel like this sometimes, Julie, but you know, when you talk to someone about what you do, they say, what do you do? And you share what we do for a living. And I tend to find that sometimes you get a response of like, oh, isn't that nice? That's a cute little hobby for you, kind of thing. And it's really important that you take yourself seriously, view yourself as a professional. You're a business person, and your business is lovely and enjoyable and important, and it's not frivolous and it's not silly. And just don't let people underestimate you for that reason.
Yeah,
That's something that I really think about a lot.
and I think that's really important. And I think it's about, don't underestimate the impact that your classes will potentially have. And I think going back full circle, Jen, to when you attended baby massage on a one-to-one in Scotland, wasn't it, with your daughter, the impact that that has had on you and your relationship with your daughter, but also it's led you to set up your business as well
True.
now. So that's had a huge impact on your kind of life and where you are
Yeah.
now. So never underestimate, like you say, we do lovely things. We are very privileged to be in the situation that we're in, but actually it's more than that.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. That's made me think I need to reach out to my old baby massage instructor, because I haven't let her know that I'm
How
doing it now.
amazing would that be? How amazing would that be?
Yeah, that's
And
true. That's a really good point.
and actually, and don't be afraid, to tell your story if you're happy to share that. Because actually other parents will resonate with that. And I always think if you begin with babies, you never know where you're going to end up, really.
Yeah.
Amazing starting point at the start of life.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jen. I'm just going to open it up. If anybody has any questions for Jen that they wanted to ask, we've got about 10 minutes left. If there's any burning questions. Yes, Jenny.
How do you choose your venues?
Yeah, it can be really hard to find venues, can't it? At the moment, I've got 3 venues that I use. One's a kindergarten, and they have a space that they let me use. The other one is a dance studio, and the final one is like a soft play kid baby class venue. I really love all the venues. I've mainly chosen them due to their location, just where they are in Hong Kong and where it's easy to get to. But I've got a few non-negotiables. One is that it has to have step-free access, because of the mums with their buggies coming in. Needs to have really good air conditioning, because it's very hot here. But then in the UK, I would be thinking about really good heating that I can control myself, because the babies obviously in massage need to be undressed. There's other things that I think about now that I didn't think about at the beginning, like the room you need to be able to make it really dark if you need to, and good control over the lighting. One of my venues, the first venue I went with, and I'm still working with them now, but only once a week, they have great big windows and no curtains. So I can't use any of my sensory equipment that involves lights, because the babies can't see them. So that makes things a bit tricky. And the other thing, obviously, that I have to factor in is cost. So I have a certain budget for all of the venues, and if they can't meet it, then I just can't work with them. But I have found that most of them are willing to accept a profit split, which I'm then happy to do. And then all of those venues, I approach them, and for most of them, they're also businesses that I partner with for events. So that's another thing that I've taken into account is it a business that I want to work with? Because it starts you off with a really good relationship. We share the space. If you take good care of it and leave it really clean, and maybe bring equipment and say, you guys can use this, then that gives you a really good relationship, and that can help going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
And I think that's quite important, the point you made about, is this a business that I want to work with? Because actually the venue promotes what you do as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In terms of, if you're happy with it, then parents will be happy with it.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's the thing. I mean, if I was in Britain, if I was still where I had been in rural Scotland, I probably would be looking at like the local bowling club or the village hall. And would that bowling club, if they put a poster up outside, would that attract mums and babies? Who is it that's going to that bowling club? Maybe the space is right, but the audience isn't. So that's another factor as well.
Good point. Any other questions? Anything anybody wants to ask Jen while we've got her here?
Hi, sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah.
I missed the start of the session. Did you say you add sensory play to your sessions as well?
Yeah, so I have about, for the babies under 6 months, my classes are baby massage for about 10 to 15 minutes, baby yoga for 10 to 15 minutes, and then sensory play at the end for another 10 to 15 minutes. And the sensory play is non-messy sensory play because I don't own the venues. So it's usually things like lights, textures, things like I have a big sheepskin rug that I put down. The babies can do tummy time on that. And my sensory play is normally according to a theme. This week, my theme actually this week isn't a very good example. My theme this week is body awareness. Normally my themes are like under the sea or at the farm. But this week, all the massage strokes, all the yoga poses, and all the sensory play is about promoting body awareness and that aspect of brain development. So for the body awareness things, we've got the scarves, so that the mums let the scarves fall onto the baby's face and pull them down, so they get the tactile sensation of the scarf moving across their body. We've got these, I've got sticks with ribbons on them, and we stroke them over the baby's arms. I've got spiky massage balls, which we roll over the baby's arms or their backs, and tactile surfaces as well for the babies to lie on. So that's just for example. Other things I have are like disco lights, different kinds of lights, a big parachute.
And you do that all together, sorry, like in a group, or do you just kind of do the yoga and then send them off to do the sensory play, or do you do yoga and do the sensory play all together? You know what I mean?
Oh, so it goes, everything's directed by me. So they all sit around in a circle with me. And first I direct them through the massage, then I direct them through the yoga. And then I normally, for babies under 6 months, have all the toys in the middle laid out attractively. And I say, I'll just invite you all to explore the toys however you want to. And then I let them do that for about 5 minutes. I go around and chat. If there's any new clients, I'll be like, oh, you did so well. Aren't they great? Chat, chat, chat. And then after about 5 minutes, I get out a bubble machine and start the bubble machine. And then while the babies are watching that, I'll guide the parents through some sensory activities that I've planned with those toys. So they might have been playing with the scarves in a different way. And then I'll say, why don't you just try this, and show them the activity I wanted them to do. They might have been playing with the massage balls in a particular way, and I'll say, let's try this now and see how the babies respond, guide them through it that way. So with the sensory play, I do let them explore a little bit, but I find that I also need to give a little bit of structure just to let them feel like there's an expert in the room and that they're getting value for money.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jen. That was great. Any other questions at all? Brilliant. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Jen, for taking up your evening to come and talk to us. That's been really informative. You can get back to your evening's activities now. We're still in the middle of the day in the UK. But that's been great. It's amazing to hear how your business is going and growing. It'll be interesting to have you back in a year's time to see where you're at then.
Oh gosh, it's I wouldn't have thought a year ago that I'd be here just now the way that it's going. So I don't know where it'll be in a year.
And we've watched you grow it to Baby and Beyond, and that's why it seems longer than a year that you did your training.
I know. That's what I got at the party. Everyone was saying, has it really only been a year? Because I have been very lucky, I think. The thing about Hong Kong is a real place of opportunity. And also I kind of just got in just after COVID when there was no baby classes. So I've been featured in some magazines, been able to speak at events, and these opportunities that I know that I wouldn't have had if I was back in Scotland where I had been, because there's already an awful lot of businesses similar to mine in that particular area. So I know I have been very fortunate being here, but it is amazing how far you can go in just 1 year.
Amazing. And congratulations again for being our Instructor of the Month for October. So well done. And yeah, thank you everybody for coming today. This is recorded, so if you missed any bits of it, don't worry, it will be shared at some point in the next few days on the Facebook group and on various kind of social media bits and pieces as well. And if you want to apply to be Instructor of the Month, please do. I think Emily's going to be sending out an email in the next few days, just giving you the link and everything. If you're interested, then please do, because we're always looking for Instructors of the Month, and you get to come and share your story, which is amazing. So thank you. Thanks, Jen. Thanks everybody else. Bye.